We have talked about websites before, and this time around, I want to bring websites in a more lively way that you can understand what the anatomy of a website is, what it does, why it is what it is, and how you can also be part of something that is going to give you long-lasting results. I know people make websites, people build websites, and this is a time to have a website that you can actually see the long-term effect of what you build. But some people don't know how a website is built. Welcome, Lara, Abdul, Gary. I know a lot of people are going to be coming in here too. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful and blessed day as well. Happy Wednesday. And I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to bring this topic to your attention today on how these things are supposed to work, how they're supposed to move, and what you're supposed to know about building a website, especially when it comes to the anatomy of how it works. So this is something that I want us to discuss, and we're going to take about an hour to do this. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know and we can make this happen. If you'd like to get on a call with me, this is some way you can also connect with me on. Reach out to me and we can definitely talk about it as well. So the anatomy of a website. What is a website? A website is a place that you can call home on the internet. People can call it different things, but that's how I'm going to define it. Hey, Coach Z, when you have a website, your website is supposed to be built in a way that it actually attracts the right people, attracts the right connections, right? Because websites are basically pages that are on the web, but they're all curated for specific reasons, right? You have a website that has a blog, you have a website that has a product, you have a website that has a contact page, you have a website that has a gallery, that has a donation tab, that has a form. There are different things that you want to put within that system. So I decided to bring this information to you. I should have done this a little earlier in the day, so I do apologize for the delay getting in here. I've been handling a lot of business calls and impromptu calls and signups, but it's been a blessing. And I know that once I make this decision to come here and do this, I want to make sure I can come and do this correctly. So I've talked about this before, and I'm going to talk about it again. But this time around, I'm going to be more extensive, get more results from our conversation today. What's up, John? How are you? Happy Wednesday.
You hope everybody's having a great day, and you especially, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I talked about the anatomy of a website in the Breakfast with Champions house on Monday, and I really extended it to the length of giving people insights about how their website should be operating, what it contains, what it entails, what the essentials are, and how we can actually take what we do with our websites seriously and also expand them beyond the horizon of just having a website for namesake or for domain sake. So I wanted to bring different parts of our website to you so that if you are hearing this for the first time, it allows you to be more specific in how you are getting the responses and how you're able to see this from a long-term perspective. If you do have a website, put it in the chat, let us know, and we can look at it and definitely talk about it too extensively if you'd like us to see it. And if not, that's fine. You can send me a private message and let me know, hey, favorite, this is my website, and tell me what is wrong with it. What can I do on it? What can I fix? What can I do? And we will get that taken care of. But if you want to even be more extensive and get this going, then click the link above, book a call with me, and we can have a discovery call for 30 minutes plus 5 minutes, which will be an audit of your website, which I will send to you privately, and you'll be able to watch the video and then let me know your decision after that. So we're going to go into this real quickly and make sure that we have a very extensive conversation. What's up, Brianka, Self-Care, Rosalind, D, good to see you as well, Anita, and Gary. John, before we go into the discussion, I wanted to ask you, when you hear websites, what comes to your mind? Just what is the temperature and the feeling of websites when you just hear it in a conversation?
Well, for me, it's still a must-have. Think of a website as your 24-hour a day, 365-day-a-year sales platform. That's a receptionist. That doesn't cost you any money. That's where you direct traffic to. And people who tell all the time there's no shortage of them, oh, you don't need a website anymore. That's old fashioned. You know what? They're usually on the losing end of the stick. So it can be as complicated as a lot of people make it, or it can be as simple as you make it. I always say this: get started with something simple, so you have a place where you can get email addresses, direct sales, all this other stuff. And there's plenty of providers out there, so you don't have to have a high end, but it's more important to have a website that is fully functioning and works well than one that does not and looks good.
Exactly. Thank you. A lot of websites look good, but they may not function as well. It's like saying you have a great body, but you're dying on the inside. It's not a good thing because you have to fix what's inside to have that outlook from an outward appearance and also an inward appearance too. So websites can be very clunky. They might be very in between, but when you have a website and your website is doing well, it's functioning well, it's moving well, the speed is great, the content is great, the links are great, there are no 404 errors, there are no broken links, there are no duplicated pages, then you're definitely in good standing as well. So thank you so much for that, John. Celeste, what's up? We'd love to hear from you too. Good morning, where you are.
Hey, listen, I want to say kudos to you for making your schedule match my schedule today. Friend, we're in sync. I love it.
Let's go. Let's go. You know, I have to just push it towards the afternoon because I had a lot of things to handle and I had some international calls to handle too. So I said, you know what? I'll still come here, make sure that I make the schedule happen. So the fact that you're here too, Celeste, is a good thing. So I'm happy you're here as well too. Let people know about you and also tell us about websites. When you hear website, what do you hear in our world today?
Oh, good question. I personally love this subject, so I'm excited to get into it. For those of y'all who don't know me, my name's Celeste, and I am a service-based business owner where I live here in Portland, Oregon. I'm on the West Coast in the USA, and my claim to fame is all about SEO and digital marketing. I scaled my business to last year we hired 34 contractors, which is how much business that we get through being found on Google. So super excited to get into it. I think the number one thing nowadays when I hear websites, it's like, oh, it's so hard. Oh, it's expensive. I like to encourage the people that I guess quote for a better lack of a better term is to just start with like a one-page simple website. It is better. I always use this analogy. A website's like an umbrella. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. You know how embarrassing it is for someone to be like, oh, what's your website? And you're like, just get a simple one-page website. And to demystify the expensive part, I know on Wix, you can get a basic website for like $24 a month. And then a custom domain is even less. It's like $15 for the whole year. So stop using excuses, y'all. If you do not have a website, what are you waiting for? Like, now is your time. It's easier than ever. Ooh, I don't even want to bring in the AI thing, but you know, I'm like on the fence with AI, but you can build a whole website now with AI. So there's really not a lot of excuses for those of you who don't have one. Now is the year. It's 2026. Let's go.
Let's go. Thank you, Celeste. You're right about that. You know, having a website is important. I love how you use the analogy of an umbrella. I always say website is like land, and I treat it like land. And whatever you put on that land is what is going to appreciate over time. And the value increases based on what you've inserted or you integrated into the building. If the plot is a plot and there's no building in between the plot, there's no address and that's it, okay. But if you have a business and it's a website, and like you said, if it's a one-page website, at least let people find it and then you can grow from there. It's kind of like saying, oh, I'm just using the living room and then eventually I'll go to the kitchen and then I'll go to the bathroom and then I'll go to the closet and then I'll go to the laundry room. It just expands over time. But a lot of people don't use it because they feel like a website is just or just bleh until something happens and you're like, oh, I actually need a website. Oh, I need grants. Okay, I need a website. Oh, I have an event. Oh, I need a website. Oh, I need to file a trademark. Oh, I need to get a website. Instead of just having the website and whatever comes after that is now what you're preparing for. but you can't prepare for the rain if you're not prepared at all. So it's something to really, really think about. So I love that you mentioned that too, Celeste. Now, before we go into the anatomy, I want you to break this down a little bit for us, Celeste, because you said a one page. Because someone may think a one page website could be a landing page, and a landing page is not a website. I always say that. So clarify this for us so that when someone hears a one page, they're not just thinking, oh, they're just going to stick everything on there and call it a page or call it a site.
Okay, so to me, a one page website is, I know some people like to call it a funnel, but it's basically like the who, what, where, why, and how can you buy, like all just on one page. And what I love about a one pager is now, I know every platform has different terminology, but on Wix, you can add anchor buttons. So, like for example, let's say you do nails, I don't know. When it says about, right, you can have a button at the top. So it kind of looks like, it's going to go to a different page, but instead it's just going to scroll down to an anchor that you place on that page. So, to make it very easy to scroll, because keep in mind, easy is a way to win the website game. So you're going to have anchor buttons at the top that scroll to different parts of the page. Contact is going to scroll to the bottom to that contact form. But it is a very low level and low tech way to just kind of get a little land, like Favor says, get a little piece of real estate in the www world. I highly encourage those of you who especially you're like, oh, I don't have time to build a whole website, just start with one page and the rest can come later. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you, Celeste. Yeah, definitely you have to build on a website from scratch, but it doesn't mean that the website has to be flat. You can build upon it as you go, but it shouldn't stay like that every year. Like the website you had last year should not be the website you have this year. There should be more content this year than last year. And sometimes we just do content and we put it out there for a reason that makes sense for that time, but it's not something that's going to outlast the time if it's not evergreen or if it's not positioned to be in a place where people can actually connect with the business on any type of page or any type of access as well. So that's why I wanted to ask you that specific question on that. So thank you for bringing that in, Celeste. What's up, Rocky, the leader and the owner of the house? What's going on, business and marketing founder? How you doing today?
How you doing? How y'all? I'm on my little 10-minute break and then I'm back in listening mode. But for now, I can speak. Hi.
Hi, Rocky.
Tell us about what you think about website when you hear websites today, Rocky. Because I know you're not going to be with us for the whole time, so we'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts when you hear websites today?
Annoying. Death. Hell. Hellfire. Website is necessary for your brand awareness. It is needed, but it can be a headache to manage and get it all right. So you definitely need the right team to help you with it. I've always been a social media girl, but I know websites are necessary, especially if you have a local business.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Especially if you have a local business. You're so right on that too, because locally people are searching for your business with their locations turned on by default. And if somebody finds a location near them, if they're looking for a restaurant or hotel, somewhere to go, they're going to find the closest distance and they're going to pick a 2-mile, direction, or let's say a 2-mile drive over a 20-mile drive if you're going to the same place, especially if it's the same business. Like, let's say you want to go to a Home Depot and your Home Depot is 2 miles away and you have something else that's 20 miles away. You'd rather go to the 2 miles than the 20 miles. So if you have a business and you're within that operation locally, then it's easier for someone to find you than it is just to be showing up because you have a website. And then another thing too is with websites, people don't really have their websites connected to the search engines that are offered for free. We have Google Search Console, which is free. We have Bing Webmaster Tools, which is free. If you have a location, if you have a brick and mortar location, Google Business Profile is free. Bing Places is free. Microsoft and Google are giving you free tools to show up online, but we don't think about them because we think that when someone builds a website or when we pay for a website, then there it is. The website is live. Yeah, it's live to you, but it's not live to the internet. It's not live to the servers. It's not live to the bots. It's not live to the algorithm. So that's where that miscommunication comes in. And we're going to demystify that today. So I love that you mentioned that, Rocky. Thanks for bringing that in. And if you got a pink ticket in here, I see you guys. Please make sure that you sign up and cash in your ticket at the very top that says business and marketing. This is a house. This is Rocky's house. So make sure that you sign up, get here. It's a free entry. And by the way, Rocky, congratulations. You have 19,002 members.
What? Wow. Thank you, guys.
What are you eating?
In a firehouse sub, a club sub.
Firehouse subs are dope. Thank you for being here, Rocky. Appreciate you. And as you guys are here, please make sure that if you have a question, put it in the chat. We'll make it happen. Coach Z says in a training song. Okay, a training song. That's different. Listening in the background here to support. Thank you for being here. And Bianca says listening from work. Thank you as well for being here too. You're all appreciated. Belle, Kendra, Judith, Rosalind, Saranda. Good to see you as well. Thank you for being here in the room. So we're going to make this happen because we're going to be here till the top of the hour and we're going to drive through this thing really quickly. So here we go. The first thing, what's up, Dr. Fashion? Thanks for being here too. The first thing I want us to talk about when it comes to the anatomy of a website, I mentioned this before, is the header. The header. It's something that if you miss, you've missed the whole bus. I can really say that because the header of a website is really where people start looking at, right? There are 3 types of scrolls. By the way, I'm not sure if you know about this, but you probably do this and you don't know what they are. But there are 3 types of scrolls when it comes to a website. There's the I path, right? The I path is where you look first and then where you go next, right? It's kind of like you open a website, you land on a page, and then you start scrolling, but you know where you're going, right? The second one is a scroll path. The scroll path is how vertical or how horizontal motion reveals the content and the shifts of attention that you have on the site. So let's say you're scrolling up and then you see something you like, you're going to scroll up again, and then you scroll down, and then the motion is like, oh, I'm going to stick on this side, I'll read, and then I'll scroll down again. This happens a lot when you have blogs. People are going to read your blog and they'll say, oh, this is a 10-minute read. Okay, I'm going to scroll all the way down, see what I like. Are there pictures? Are there videos? Are there FAQs? What is in there for me to add on? And then from there, I'm like, okay, now I know what exactly I'm going to read. So the header is important, right? The third thing is a decision zone. A decision zone. Now, a decision zone is pretty much where people pause. This is where users pause. This is where they think. This is where they act. Where there's a call to action, there's a button, there's a pricing table, there's a sign-up form. All these are defined not just by layout, but by priority, right? People put their forms at the bottom of the page. Some people put them in the middle of the page. Some put them at the top so that you don't have to go all the way down. If you use a free tool like Microsoft Clarity and it's on your website, you can see exactly how people are heat mapping up and down your site. So you know, okay, if 75% of people drop off at this section, then you know that you should put something above the fold, not below the fold. Because if you do that below the fold, then you're going to miss out on that 75% that have left after they scrolled past a certain point. So it's important to have those things and measures so you're able to know exactly where you're going with it. So a header is important. You need to have a header on your site. The header is where you have your main navigation menu, right? That's where your home page is. That's where you have your about, you have your contacts, you have your team, you have your products, you have your gallery, you have all those fancy things that people like to click on your site because that's the navigation. It's a navigation menu, right? That's where you want to move from site to site or from page to page or from link to link. So if you have the link outside the site, you're going to put it in the header because someone's going to click on it and it will take them to a new tab. Or they can click on about and now they're in a whole different page on your site. The third one is a logo. Most people have their logos on the top left-hand corner of their site. Some have it in the middle, some have it on the right, depending on how you build it, right? And the logo most times should have, if not, please try this out. If you don't, then you're going to be confusing your I can say your visitors, because there are two types of visitors: returning visitors and new visitors to a site. Whenever you have a logo on your website, that is more like the reset button, because when someone clicks on that logo, they should be going back to your homepage. But if you just have a logo stuck on there and it doesn't have any link behind it, there's no alt text behind it, there are no pixels or dimensions behind it, the file name is not written correctly, it doesn't say logo.png, it should say business name dash 800 by 800 or 1300 by 1300 or 3000 by 3000 pixels dot png. It should look like that, so that the alt text, the file name, the image itself is visible, is clear, and that's the same image that's going to end up on your Google Images. If someone Googles your business and they go to the images section, your logo is going to be there. That's if you put it there correctly. And if it's there, someone's going to click on that logo image and then it's going to take them directly to your site. Why is it even on Google Images? The reason why it's on Google Images is because there's a link behind your logo. That's why when you go to Google Images and you click on an image, it takes you to a destination link. So that's why your logo is important. There's a favicon as well. A favicon is different from a logo, even though they're the same logo types. But a favicon or a favicon, whatever you want to call it, is going to be what you see in a tab. Have you ever clicked, new tab, new tab, new tab? That tab is going to have a little square, right? And it's going to tell you Facebook. And then you're going to see that blue F with a white F sign, right? That blue and white is the favicon. Most times when people have Squarespace, they don't change the favicon because it just looks like a big black box. Or some people don't change the favicon on WordPress and it's a big W. Those are opportunities that you're losing or missing out on because psychologically someone's getting to know about your brand by the tab. If you're on LinkedIn, you're going to see blue and white, IN in white, and then there's going to be a blue background. That's the favicon. It's still the logo, but the favicon is what people are going to be seeing when they're clicking on a new tab. It just makes it clean. It makes it easy to read, makes it easy to find, easy to visualize, and it just makes sense. So these are the things that you want to think about when you look at the anatomy of a website. The next thing is your social media links. For example, I know on Wix, when you have a website on Wix or even Shopify, they usually put your Facebook, Instagram, maybe TikTok, YouTube, Threads, and they'll put the logo icons there, right? Because those logo icons are social media icons that take you to your social media links. And if you have a website that doesn't have those custom links updated, then they're going to remain default. They're going to just remain by default, because most times when you're building a website, those are the things that are left there. It's going to say facebook.com/Wix or instagram.com/Shopify or tiktok.com/Squarespace. They're going to stay there because you've not changed them. They're there as placements, but they should be updated. They should be customized so that when you have those links, they now turn into external links, right? Why are they external? Because an external link moves you from your website to another website, from the website that you clicked off from. So if I click Facebook icon, that Facebook icon is going to open a new tab. And that new tab is going to lead me to your Facebook business page. If you have LinkedIn there, that LinkedIn should take me to your external page, which is going to be your company profile on LinkedIn, or it's going to be your personal profile on LinkedIn. So the idea of creating these links are super important, because when you don't have these links are going to have a big defect on your site. Because when Google starts to scan your site and says, oh, your business is A, and all of a sudden someone clicks on Facebook and they go to Wix, they're like, huh, is this the same business? And they won't tell you. That's the sad part. They will not tell you. They will just leave and they'll never come back. It's like going to an experience, I can call it a show, or going to a concert, or going to an event, and you didn't like that event, you didn't like that show, you were so excited about it, you were giddy up, you were ready to go, you're kicking in here and there, you get there, and then it's not what you expected, you're like, ugh, this is not what I was waiting for, this is not exactly what I was planning to have. You leave. You're not going to tell them, hey, this thing was bad. You're just going to leave because you don't have the energy to even express yourself because you're already mad. So you don't want someone to leave your website because they were trying to connect with you on LinkedIn and now they found a LinkedIn default post or even a 404 error. Or maybe you changed the link on LinkedIn and you didn't change it on your website. Those things happen, but you have to think about the end to end. It's like a bridge. You can't have one bridge to the other side of the bridge and there's a break in between the bridge. That's not a bridge, because the bridge has to connect from one point to the other. So your links have to connect from one point to the other. That's why it's important to have your social media icons there. When you have internal links, those internal links are also supposed to be there. If you want to read more, see more, discover more, find out more, fill in the blank, then it should take you to another page on your site. Those are things that you have to think about too. So social medias are important across the board. Your buttons as well are very important too. That's the anatomy of a website. You have to have buttons there. They're either going to be in form of blue links or they're going to be in form of buttons, right? Now, when you have those buttons, they're supposed to be clickable. If they're not clickable, then that button is not really functioning the way it's supposed to. Even the size of the button matters, because if that size is huge, then it's going to take a long time for it to render. If it's small, it's going to be hard for someone to see. When you send an email and somebody receives an email and the font size is 8 pixels, it's going to be hard for someone to see, especially if they don't see properly. So if you switch it from 8 to 16, and now it's 16 pixels, now they don't have to squint to see. They can read the text in full legibility because you can actually understand what is being said instead of you trying to squint or even you trying to zoom in. You know, you can also zoom in on your browser, right? So if you zoom in from 100% to 200% because you can't see what's on the screen, that's a problem. So those little things go a long way. And if you don't fix them early, it might have a big defect on your website long term. So that's one thing to note. Another anatomy of a website is your sections. The sections of your site are important. Product features, reviews, testimonials, about us, services, what we do, who we serve, all these things need to be there as different sections because those sections are going to lead you to different locations, different destinations. If I scroll down your page and I see about this person, there's going to be a button there in that section. Oh, here are the services we offer. We offer digital marketing, we offer PPC, we offer SEO. Then they click on PPC and then you end up on a contact page. That's not going to work. They want to see a PPC page which has a contact page and not a contact page without the PPC. So everything has to be in alignment. So when someone is clicking on the button, they know, okay, this is going to take me here because I want to go to this destination. When you're driving somewhere, when you're flying somewhere, imagine flying to the wrong destination or driving to the wrong destination. You won't be happy. So that's the same experience you want to give someone, a good one. An experience that they can feel like, okay, this person actually cares about where I'm going to on their site because they're telling me to click here and it's taking me to where I need to go. If you fill a form on a site and you click submit and it's not submitted, that's a problem, right? It's different things that make up a website. So we have to think about the buttons that we set, the sections that we set, and also understand exactly where this is going to. So before I go any further, we'd love to talk to you as well, Dr. Fashion. Good morning. Thanks for being here. It's been a while. Hope you're well. When you hear website, what do you hear in your world today? And especially because of YouTube, when people say, oh, I don't need a website because I got YouTube, or I don't need YouTube because I have a website. What do you hear in your world and what's happening? Dr. Fashion might be doing some content, so she might not be available to speak. But if you are, just blink your mic and let me know on mic and let us know too. There we go.
Favorite, did you call me?
Thinking about websites, what do you think about to have one because they already have YouTube?
Well, I made a whole video about how vital having a website is, especially with all the changes with the algorithm. So if you are focused on building a community, building your brand and or business, I think it is important to have a website or even a newsletter if you don't want to build out a full website. For me, I've been having my website for over a decade now, and it's really cool because I get to have a little bit more freedom with the content that I create. because every platform have their guidelines. But on top of that, I'm kind of building like the mini version of YouTube when I think about it. People are logging in, consuming content, and I'm able to get that data and make money like the big boys are when it comes down to getting emails, address, phone numbers, etc. So yeah, I think it's important. I think most people in this room are business owners and entrepreneurs. So if you don't have a website, it's something to look into and take what Favor is sharing and implement it.
Thank you, Dr. Fashion. It's important to have a website. And I just think about this too, social media wise. It makes sense. And this will also help you see this a little clearer if you're doubting whether you need a website or not. When you go to Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, name any Instagram, Threads, Pinterest platform, social media wise that you see, they're always going to ask you for your website. They're going to say, here, what is your website URL? So if social media is asking you for your website, why doesn't your website have your social media? That's a big question you need to answer, because if you have a website and it's not reflecting on social media directly, like https://www. your domain, that's going to be an issue, because if someone ends up on your site and it's a HTTP and it's not secure, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. We just click on websites every day because we just want to show up on a website. Great. But if we don't have the S, which is secure, then we'll be having a not secure website when you actually have a secure website, but it didn't redirect you to the actual website that is secure. So these are things to keep in mind so that your website is not out of place. When somebody searches your business name on Google or on any platform, even AI bots, they're going to say, according to this page, according to this site, according to this information, ABC. It keeps happening because your website is part of that ecosystem. When you have a podcast, your podcast would need to have a website. Right at the very bottom of your podcast show, there's going to be your name and it's going to say, click here, and it's going to take you to your website. If you don't have your website, it's going to default to the website that you're hosting on, whether it's Spotify for creators for Spotify, or Buzzsprout, or Libsyn, Liberated Syndication, or any other platform that you're using. It's going to default to those platforms. Now you want to default it to your custom website, because your website is also getting a backlink as well. It may not be a do follow backlink, it might be a no follow backlink, but it's something that's linking back to your site from another source. So these things are so important to consider, so that when you have a website or thinking about a website, these are very big things to actually think about long term as well. So the anatomy of a website, you need to have a header, have the main navigation menu, have your logo, your favicon together, have your social media, have your buttons, have your sections. Then the next one is also your images and your video, right? When you have an image, your image should not be heavy. Say you have, for instance, 50 products on your site, and each product has 5 variations. Now you have more pages on your site with more images, and imagine if each image was 5 megabytes. Let's say you had a photo shoot, it was great, and the pictures are popping, it's sharp, but each of those images are 5 megabytes times 50. Let me even put it this way. You have 5 images or 5 megabytes, and then you have 5 different variations. Let's say you have blue, yellow, green, red, and burgundy, something like that. Now you have 5 different images, that's 25. And let's say you have 50 products, that's 25 times 50. That's 1250. So you have 1200 plus content base, which is close to about 1250 megabytes. That's a lot. Because if your website keeps loading slow, because you have pages that load slow, then your website is also going to be deranked and debunked, because you have pages that are taking so long to load that people that don't have strong Wi-Fi, or if the signal is not strong enough, you're going to have an error message, or it's going to have a big box that is just going to show a frame without the image. So you want to have your images compressed. You want to have your images in a way that are small. Go to a website like compressor.io and compress your images. If it's lower than 10 megabytes, you can do it. That's a great place to use it. If you use Adobe, great. If you use Canva, great. Choose a platform that you like and update those things. Some people just use Canva, they use a template, they download it, they upload it to their social media without even changing the file name. So it will now say default template 202 and .jpeg, yet you're talking about real estate or food or whatever it is you're talking about from that page. So it's important to think about these things. Videos as well. You don't want to upload a video to your website. That's going to slow it down even more because videos are in 10 megabytes, 50 megabytes. It goes all the way to gigabytes because you want to have quality videos, but not videos that are going to slow down your site. So there are ways that you can upload your videos on your site by embedding them, by putting iframes there. If you have a podcast, putting those podcast links there. Don't just upload an MP3. Embed your whole frame so that someone can listen to it and you're actually attributing that to a download. A download is usually between 30 to 45 seconds. So when you have one download on your podcast, that means somebody has spent at least up to 60 seconds listening to you, between 30 to 45 seconds. If they spend more time, great, because they may not listen to everything. They might listen to you from minute 20 or minute 55 or minute 2, right? But if they listen through the whole minute, at least 3/4 of it, then yeah, you definitely have a download there because someone actually listened to it. So they're downloads, they're unique listeners, and that comes to your site as well. If you have a podcast, that is. If you don't, your website is still going to matter because someone's going to read through your pages. If you have a blog, if you have a product, if you have a checkout page, it makes sense. Look at all these sites that you buy flights from or you buy tickets from, like Eventbrite. There's going to be a countdown timer that says, oh, you got 15 minutes on the counter and it's starting to count down. The reason why it's giving you 15 minutes is because you shouldn't take more than 15 minutes to fill up the form. You might even fill up the form in a minute or two, especially nowadays when you have autofill on your website or on your browsers. You just click here, oh, I have my password saved, I have my credit card saved, I have my name saved, I have my address saved, and you just tap, 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 and go. Those 15 minutes are a lot. That's a quarter of an hour. So you got 3/4 left of that hour, and they're only giving you 1/4 to finalize everything that you're doing. So when you think about your website, images and videos are important. Think about the file extensions, think about the file names, think about the alt text, which is alternative text. Use these things to help your website gain more traffic, because once you've connected your site to all these servers I mentioned earlier today, then you can now actually get more detailed with how people can actually find your content online as well. Another thing is your form. That's another anatomy of your site. A form, it could be a pop-up form, it could be an inline form, it could be a request form, it could be a request, an RFP, a request for proposal form. However you want to put the form there, it could be a quiz, it could be a survey. You want to have those things on your site because that shows that you have content behind the website. When you have content behind the website, it means that people can subscribe and say, oh yeah, I love this content. More content like this? Great. Let me sign up. Put your first name and best email and you're good to go. So you want to have these things on your site: images, videos, forms. And then within the forms, people are able to receive them. When you have WordPress, when you have Wix, Squarespace, all these sites, they have form builders. You can either customize it and bring it from a third party, like a Flowdesk or a Klaviyo or a Constant Contact, or from a MailChimp, a Brevo, wherever you go, and bring it into your site. So when someone leaves their contact information, you have access to it and you can respond back. When someone leaves their name and phone number and email, you're supposed to use it. Just imagine that they've been leaving information and then you never send them an email. Then what is supposed to happen? They're not supposed to fill up the form twice. You're supposed to send them an email. If I give you my number, if you give me your number, one of us has to call first or one of us has to text first. That's because we want to start a conversation. A conversation is not beginning from the end of the number that you got. If it's a 10-digit number, it's not, the conversation doesn't stop there. It starts there. So your website starts from how you've built it from the beginning to allow more people to connect with you long term, right? You have a header and we also have a footer. That's also another part of a site. The footer is also important too. A lot of people don't have footers on their website. whatever you have on the header should also be within the footer, right? We have a head all the way down to our toes, right? So when we have a footer is supposed to allow us to have more navigation above the head, because the footer should have even more links than the header does. The header, you might have 5 links, maybe less, maybe more, but your footer is going to have way more. If you go to corporation websites, company websites, and you scroll all the way down, and let's say you want to sign up, or you want to apply for a job, or you want to apply for speaking engagements, or you want to apply for partnerships, or anything of that nature, it's going to be showing up at the footer. And they'll say, hey, go all the way down and click careers. When you click careers, it will take you to the website.com/careers or /locations or /quote or /contact, because all those things are in there at the bottom and at the footer, because it helps the person get more accessibility to your site. Now, when you have a footer too, it also shows you have more navigations there. It helps people to learn, oh, okay, I didn't know you do SEO. Oh, I didn't know you do digital marketing. Oh, I didn't know you do billboards. Oh, I didn't know you do this or that. They don't know, especially when they're there for the first time as a visitor. It's hard. Imagine going to church for the first time, or going to hospital for the first time, or going to a hotel for the first time. You don't know where to go. You're going to ask, hey, where do I go? Where's the elevator? It's because you don't know. Where's the bathroom? Where's the kitchen? You don't know these things because you're asking the person who has been there before you to direct you. So if you have a website, you should be able to direct them. Like John said, it's 24/7, it's 365 or 366 if it's a leap year. And you have your content in a way that people can find it accessibly and without having to worry about where to go next. Because if I land on your homepage and I can't move from there, I'm going to leave, and that bounce rate goes up. The standard average bounce rate should be between 30 to 40%. If you're above 40%, check your analytics, check your dashboards. If you're above 40%, then something's wrong. If you're below that, fine, well and good. It's kind of like saying with credits, if you spend above 30%, or if you have a credit history and your credit report is above 30%, then if your payment history is like that, 100% downwards, eventually you know. If you have an 80% payment history compared to 100% payment history, it's going to affect your credit. It's the same thing with your business. It's the same thing with your website. These percentages make a big difference. So think about what you're giving people, because the percentages that you're seeing on your dashboards is proportionally connected to how your website has been set up. There's a time we worked with a client back in 2020, and they sell organic hair products. Really good. It's a family business. And I looked at their bounce rate. When we started, it was about like 45, 60%. It was ranging with that 15% range. And by the time we were done, they now ended up being between 3% to 10% bounce rate, which is highly unlikely to happen, but is also very possible because it's something that can happen. So the goal of you having a website is not just to have a website because the website is websiting or because the website is accessible. But if you start looking at these numbers more, and you actually start realizing that you're getting more and more visibility or more rankings, is because you're following the rules and you're abiding by the compliant principles, I can put it that way, of the internet. So when you think about your website, have your footer, have your header, have your links, check your links. If you have copyright 2017, I saw that on someone's website the other day, and we're in 2026, they might not care, they might not really bother, but when it's time for business, when it's time for partnership, when it's time for all these things, that's going to matter, because it will be like, hey, is this the last time you updated your website? Yes. Okay. What's wrong with it? Nothing. But everything else is wrong with it because it hasn't been updated to date. So your idea of a website should not just be to have a website built. It should also be to have it maintained. Either you're going to maintain it, or someone you hire or outsource is going to maintain it for you. Either way, it's going to be you. It's either you're going to take care of your body, or someone's going to take care of your body for you, depending on your age. So it's the same thing with your website. Like Dr. Fashion said, she's had her website for a decade. That means every month or every quarter, every year, every week, there's always something that's changing. There's something that's being updated because you have access to your website. These things are so important to capture, because if you don't update your websites, then it's going to be a problem. Imagine driving your car, because I know in a year you spend about 8,000 to 12,000 miles a year on a wide range. So just imagine you've spent 50,000 miles and you've never changed your oil. You've never changed your suspender. You've never done an alignment. You've never changed your tires. You've never done anything. Things are just falling apart. It's going to be a problem. So when you look at these analogies I'm giving you and you now equate them back to your site, think about your website as where people are able to actually understand you. Imagine if you have a speaking engagement. You're talking so well, so eloquently, you're driving conversations, you're sparking minds, you're doing a lot of great stuff. And then you tell them to go to your website and then they're like, this is not the same person. This is not the same energy I'm getting from you on stage that I'm getting online. It's going to show two different people. It's like me telling you about myself, then I send you my resume and it doesn't show exactly what I've discussed or what I've talked about. There'll be a conflict of interest, literally. Because I'm interested in what you're saying, but on paper, it doesn't look like what you're telling me. So we have to make an alignment so that these things are not just misaligned or misconstrued, because you have to update these things and do them in a sequential way that allows someone to connect with you long term. So these are the things that we want to talk about today from the anatomy of a website. And I have one more that I'm going to discuss, which is going to be important, that actually governs the websites entirely. And I'm going to go right into that. But I'd love to hear from John, Celeste, Rocky, or Dr. Fashion. What are your thoughts on when you hear websites like this that don't have any of these components or have them, but they're not been updated? What do you normally see? Let's say, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to a website that you love, but the website is not doing what it's supposed to because they haven't made adjustments or made updates to their website. How would you feel and how would you react?
Well, I'll go first. I don't go to website, and studies have shown, and I use radio as an example, that people will check a radio station website about once a month. They'll check their social media 14 times a day. There's a big difference. So the social media is one aspect of the website. I've really focused on SEO and making sure it's spotted by Google and other search engines and shows up when people want to find the content there. Other than that, I don't put a lot of emphasis, and everything on that website and your social media should be a closed loop. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but you should promote your social media, and your social media should promote your website so that people can find you easier. So I believe in closed loop, and I think that it's something that could be easily done. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That is so true. That stat you made about social media and website is so true. And it's like someone who spends so much time on a social media account and never go to the site, but the day they go to the site, it's going to determine if they're going to go back to your social media. And that's subjective, because some people may say, oh, okay, your website is really cool. I love what you're doing on social media. Let me sign up to your email list so I don't miss out on information. And then they may stay on your social media all day, but never go to your website because they don't have anything to do there. But it's going to be a reflection, because anything that you're doing is also going to play a big role in how you're able to also receive that information long term. So I love that you mentioned that, John. Thank you for bringing that in. Judith, what's going down? Thank you for being here. Do you have a question, contribution? Feel free. The mic is yours.
Well, Favor, I'm learning all kinds of stuff about websites because I was in the process of learning how to build it on Hostinger. And I built mine, or I got help building mine, but I don't know how to join them to social media, and I don't know if it says the same as my social media. I don't know if you could take a quick look at it. It's just my name, judithcoletti.com, and I don't know. I'm so stressed with websites, and I don't know if I'm doing what they're supposed to be doing, or I'm just making landing pages.
Great question, Judith. And that was even the last point I was even going to come to. And I love that you said this about Hostinger. That's where I always send our clients to go to. Hostinger is a really beautiful place to be at over GoDaddy. I always say that because Hostinger there's something about it that is just different. The way they operate is easy to work through. It's easy to understand. But at the same time, like you said, it can get complicated because there are so many moving parts as well. And for your social media, it's going to be within your Hostinger, because on the left side of Hostinger, I'm not even looking at it, but I can see it. There's usually a section that says websites. There's also domains there. So when you look at websites, that's where your hosting is. Because when you have a Hostinger account or a GoDaddy account or a Bluehost account, you're always going to have a hosting account, because the only reason why your website is live is because you're under a hosting. And if you ever move from one host to the other, like we did that with our clients today, we moved her from Bluehost to Hostinger, and we had to keep the records the same, but we had to change the name server. Because if the name server is pointing in a different direction, then it's going to ping off differently. So Hostinger has their own customized server. GoDaddy has their own customized name server. And these name servers is what is actually making your website live. Yeah, your website is live because someone can click on it and you can find it. It's accessible. But on the back end, if that NS name server is not there within the DNS, then it's going to be hard for someone to access the website from the front. So Judith, I'll definitely love to connect with you so we can look over it. And when I look at your site, I'm looking at the differences. I noticed that there's some things I don't see. Like I don't see CNAME records, I don't see TXT records, MX records, which are mail exchange records. CNAME record stands for canonical name records. It's just another way of saying how do you use your name within your domain to make sure that it's the naming convention that actually the servers are preferred to see as a primary for your domain. So there's so many moving parts that I would definitely love to look into even in depth. But that was a great question, Judith, because your website needs to have that representation online and also offline. So it's a little techy, but there's some things I can definitely show you visually, and I usually do those audits and send them over to you so you can have a look at them as well. So I'd love to definitely connect with you on that, Judith, but that was a great question.
In favor, I'm like a sponge, I'm trying to figure all this out and keep it moving, and I'm trying to connect everything with my speakerhub.com because I have a community inside of SpeakerHub that I work and do with, and so I need it all to be meshing together.
Yes, no, it definitely will. And even as you brought this up, I want to even highlight something about websites. There is something called the health. I can say there's something called domain health. Let me put it this way. It's called domain health. Now, with domain health, the reason why you want to have good domain health is because when you have good domain health, it means that your website has strong signals that are secure and encrypted, so that if somebody is going to send an email or receive an email, or you broadcast an email and it's coming from your domain, then your domain name server, which is your DNS, technically the DNA of your website. I always say DNS, which stands for domain name server, is your DNA of the website. Because if the DNA is not functioning well, then the body is not going to function well. If the DNS is not functioning well, then the website is not going to function well. So those things may function well because they look functioning, or they look like they're in function, or they're working well. But if this risk is high, then when you start sending out emails, you might start getting bounces or start getting things that may not be reflecting the same things over. So I'll definitely want to look into that for sure. But I know when it comes to domain health, you want to have a lot of things recorded, and you want to have things that are done in a good way, in a compliant way, so that anytime you send out an email, or you show up on Google, or you show up on these servers, then you don't have any defects, you don't have anything that are going to slow you down or impede your progress, because you have all those things that are articulated right from the jump. So there are a lot of coding and technical stuff to go through, and I know some people just want to do it on their own, but if you're going to spend 3 years doing it or 3 hours doing it, when you could have spent 30 minutes with someone doing it, then it will save you a lot of time as well. But at the end of the day, it's your website and it's how you want to operate it. But I know that it takes a while to really get through to it, especially if it's the first time. Like going into a whole new territory for the first time is going to be hard, but it gets easier over time. The more you look at something, the better it gets, the clearer it gets. So I'll definitely check into that as well, Judith. But that was a great question when it comes to social media and hosting as well. Celeste, what are your thoughts on this? When you see a website that has not been fully operated or being done in the right way, what do you normally tell them, and how do they take it?
Oh, how do they take it? That's a loaded question. I feel like so usually when I'm giving people advice, I've learned the hard way to not give people unsolicited advice on their websites. So usually people are reaching out to me, just how Judith came up to me, like, hey, can you help me? So usually they actually take it okay. I don't have a lot of issues there. I learned the hard way. Like, don't be telling people nothing. But I would say, as far as like the what, usually it's just, so here's the biggest thing with the websites to me. I think people don't often think from the lens of the consumer or the buyer. They're just thinking from the owner's lens. So I think it's really, really important for you to take a step back after you do your website and go through it as if you were a potential buyer. The number one, and there's studies and data to show this, the number one thing that deters someone from a website is confusion. They don't know where to go. It's too hard. There's too many steps. Unfortunately, we are in a digital age where I'm going to put a crown on someone. Amazon. Amazon has pretty much made the online e-commerce game. Like they dwindled this down to like 2 buttons. Have you noticed on Amazon, you can literally click like 2 or 3 buttons and get something delivered like in 30 minutes to an hour now. They have this updated thing where depending on the item, you can pay like, a little bit extra. You can get that thing in like an hour or two. So the moral of the story is consumers are becoming, I want to use the word lazy, but I don't like that word. They are just becoming very conditioned to easy. So having things that are just too damn hard to buy is, to me, one of the biggest mistakes you can make for a website. Have your top selling or, most featured product or service right there at the top of that homepage. I know I'm in the service-based business, so you know what buttons are all over my website? Book now, contact now, schedule now, right? Like every other little section, there's a button and it goes straight to a form. I only ask like 3 or 4 questions. And that is how I book so many clients. I can't tell you how many clients I talk to and they're like, oh, your process was so easy. I'll never forget I had this client, first of all, super easy money. Like, it was my favorite client last year. But they contacted me. It was kind of late at night, but I have a very easy process. It's just like, oh, hey, here's the price. If you want to book it, here's a link. And afterwards, I met the owner and they're like, yeah, it was, I originally was going to hire someone else, but their booking process was too complicated. We loved how easy it was to schedule with you. So more of the story, y'all. I said this in my last little TED talk in this room. Easy is the name of the game. You got to figure out how to make things easy for people to work with you. Okay, passing it back. Thank you.
Thank you, Celeste. You're right. It makes more sense to have an easy website than it is to make it complicated. And less is more. Less is totally more because you can do more with less if you know how to process it well and people can find it easily as well. AJ said it too. Yep, more than 2 clicks, I don't even want it anymore. It's true. And now I believe in with Amazon, they're doing hour deliveries very soon. I don't know if it's happening everywhere yet, but they're going to start doing those rush hour deliveries. You order something now, in an hour it's going to get there. And I saw that somewhere on the internet, and it's going to be happening very soon. So people are moving from prime 2-day deliveries to 1-hour deliveries. So how are you going to compete with that when your website can't even load for 3 seconds or more or less, depending on what you're doing with your website? So think about these things because little things go a long way. Little things go a long way. So I love that you mentioned that, Celeste. Thank you for bringing that in. Nick, we'd love to hear from you too. Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. The mic is yours.
I just really wanted to follow up. I thought that was great, explaining simplicity and too many things confusing people and they leave. Totally get that, and that's kind of how I changed my company up to. I eliminate a lot of things, so less options the customer has to decide on, the better it is. I even have, I'm all about the speed too. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar. So like everything I have is a next day production and free overnight shipping. I don't give them an option to even select shipping. They just get the fast shipping included, nothing else. So there's less thought. They just know they're going to get it. So just remove that whole equation for that customer. And I don't even give them too many options on how to finish the product and stuff like that. It's just basically a couple things that are really mandatory, and that's it. Upload the file, pay for it, and that's it. They're in and out of there within maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. depending if they want to ask me a question or not. And we got like live chat on it too, which is a huge thing. If you don't have live chat on your site, I can't tell you how important it is. It's been like almost 10 years on our site now, and it's crucial just for that final reassurance with the customer that might have a question or want me to look at something, and the order is placed right then on the spot. They like having a human. You can't AI it either. You can't do it. You got to be a human. Otherwise, they'll smell that from a mile away. They want to actually talk to an actual human. So, and you can't be too quick at responses because sometimes they think I'm AI just because I know the answer as they're typing it. So it's crazy, but I can tell you stuff like that really helps.
Thank you, Nick, for bringing that up too. Yes, live chats are the future. It's the now, it's the present, it is the future too. Because when you have live chats, like you said, it helps somebody to understand that, okay, this is not a static site. It's dynamic. There are things that you can process on there. And if you can answer the question, great. I know Wix is great for that. There's some platforms you can integrate it as well. And some people use third-party applications and bring them in through coding, to make sure that everything is compliant and you're able to access that information easily if it's a contact form or if it's just a question or answering questions within that setup, especially for products. Because people are trying to figure out, hey, do you have this color in large or do you have this size, times 2? People ask those questions because they don't imagine if they love your product but they can't see where to go, then they're going to leave and get to the next person. So you mentioned something really good on that. Thank you so much for that, Nick, as well. And Celeste and I fired you up at the same time. So that was good. Celeste, did you want to add something to Nick?
Oh, I'm just curious because I'm like a data girly. I know you said you had switched some of these things up. I felt you said recently, but do you remember what the difference was in your conversion rate when you changed all those things, Nick?
Oh God, I changed the structure of the business model for this specific product back in 2020. I did it because of COVID, because COVID was completely failing on delivery. So we were shipping from USPS for a lot of it to get the lower cost. But they were just getting lost. So we moved it to overnight and raised the price about eventually 4 times as much that we were charging. And it didn't slow up anything. So I think we might have lost the lower budget person, but we've gained the person that values service and time over pricing. So I'm not able to give you an actual percentage, but the bounce rate is pretty darn low for the site. I try to improve it every day of adding every single pre-question they can think of. Everyone usually asks the same question, so I match up like the videos I make to who I am to what the site is. The info is all in different spots and they can get it anywhere. So I usually have all the answers, but sometimes they just want me to look at the file for what we do. And that's pretty much the only holdback.
Yes, I love that. And congratulations. I love that you kind of niched your system to your ideal client. That's what it sounds like. So congratulations.
Yeah, for sure. And it with the live chat too, if you go to the site, it's actually got a picture of me and it says Ask Nick. That only makes sense to have because they know who I am based off my videos. Most people are coming from either ads or just organic content, but they know who I am. So they're like, hey, you can just go, and they don't believe that it's actually me. It comes to my cell phone, it comes to every computer I'm at. So as long as it's live, they can get me and give them that exact answer. Eventually it can't be me, but I think for now it's pretty cool.
That's super cool. Thank you, Nick, for bringing that in. I love that we're able to share these insights and share what we've done and how we can also improve our websites as well on different platforms, because every website is different. There are about 1.1 billion websites in the world, and we're 8.2 billion people in the world. So just imagine how much people or how many people you can impact in your niche just based on how you're able to structure yourself locally and connect to people from a long-term standpoint or vantage point. So I love that we talked about this as well today. Thank you, Nick, for bringing this up too. John, Celeste, Rocky, Judith, and Nick as well. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on that came to your mind that you're thinking about when it comes to websites? What's popping? What's happening? Let's hear it. If we have something in mind, let's talk about it.
Yeah, the main thing I would say is this: get started with what you have where you're at. I think of it like college. You have the choice of going to an Ivy League school or a community college, and it's the same prerequisites. So if you ask me, it makes more sense to go to community college for prerequisites than go to the Ivy League school for later on other stuff. Same thing with your website. Start with something and then progress. As you need more, add more. But the main thing is make sure you have it.
Exactly. 100%. And if you don't, you can get one. You can definitely get one, because having a website is one of the most essential things you can do for your brand today. And don't just depend on social media, because social media could go down tomorrow. It could get obsolete the next day, the next year, the next decade. So if you have your website and it does well and it's doing great, then that's good. If it's not, then there are always ways to definitely fix it and also optimize it for better performance or higher performance as well. So I love that you mentioned that too as well, John. Rocky, I don't know if you're able to speak, because I know you said that you only had about 10 minutes, but I wanted to pass it to you if you wanted to say something as well before we go. Rocky might be busy. So
Rocky is doing all the things. She is most likely in class.
be here, Rocky, John, Celeste, Judith, Nick, Brianka, D, Bell, Soma, Luan, AJ, Bam, Dr. JS, Tanya, Vernell, Caesar, Ismail, Gary, Harold, Osaze, and Kelvin, and everyone else as well that's going to as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for the flowers. If there's a topic you want us to talk about next, I always talk about this because I want to turn it into a room. Put it in the chat, or if you're on the stage, let me know. But what would you like us to talk about next? What topic is firing you up? What do you want to learn more about in the business and marketing world today? And we're going to turn that into a whole room. So I'm going to give you guys some time to put that in the chat, so that you can just type it out and let us know. If you're on stage and you have something in mind, I'm tossing the mic up so I can hear the question.
I'm going to say I want to learn how to make $2.5 million in 7 days. There used to be those rooms on Clubhouse all the time. I don't see them anymore. So bring them back. Okay, thanks.
Because they're busy making money.
Those rooms were cringe. 100% cringe. Because people are like, huh? What? Okay, let me jump in. And then you're hearing a whole lot of webinar talk and fluff. And people are like, nah, if you're making all that money, why are you on Clubhouse talking like that? You should be able to show it rather than tell it, but at the same time not bench people or bait people. So I love that you mentioned that, Celeste. You just got me thinking about those rooms that you see on Clubhouse in the hallway, which are crazy. I think I'll call them cringy. So I love that you mentioned that too. All right, guys, I don't see anything in the chat, and I'm glad that all hearts and minds are clear and we've been able to talk about this as well. But I will be bringing more rooms like this as well to you. There's a room that I'm going to be talking about, and it's going to be really, really exciting. Thank you, Celeste, for the coins. Appreciate you. I'll be discussing trust signals versus trust scores. That's something I'm going to be touching down to the letter. Trust signals versus trust scores. So we're going to talk about that, what the differences are, because we need to know exactly how to build our trust signals, because it happens that we don't really see these things, but when we actually know what they are and what they actually do, then it will help us, especially in our business and our marketing and how we're able to articulate things for businesses long term as well. So we'll discuss that in our next room, and I'll definitely bring that here in the business and marketing house. If you have a ticket, please make sure at the very top of this room you click on business and marketing so you can cash in your ticket and be one of the members as well. And we're now 19,009 members. So we've had a new number of members in here, which has been good, which I love it. And definitely keep the house growing, keep the room growing. And if you ever have a question, please reach out to me. Just tap on my face and connect with me. DM me, send me a message, let me know. If you want to get on a call with me, the link is available above. You can click there to book a call with me. Or if you just want to learn information about what we talk about here, the newsletter is available or go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com and you can get all that information there as we speak about it every single week. Until then, guys, have a wonderful week ahead. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you guys learned something new and take action. Don't just listen. Take action, because action taking is better than just note taking. So please enjoy yourself. Stay hydrated, stay warm, stay blessed. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now. Welcome to season 13, where you listen, you live, you learn, and you earn. A lot of information is always given on this show. So we're in the 13th season. God has brought us so far, and I just want to thank God for the opportunity to connect with you today on such quiet, calm space like this. So thank you for listening. Know that Jesus loves you, and know that you can always connect with me on the We Don't Play podcast show. More specifically, go to wedon'tplaypodcast.com, or you can go to playinc.online. That is PLAYINC.online, and get in touch with me. Let's get on a call. Let's talk. Let's focus on SEO for 2026 and beyond. So until we meet in the next episode, God bless you. Jesus loves you. Stay hydrated, stay safe, and stay blessed, and stay tuned. Bye for now.